Sup, shotties? This is Their Review Podcast. My name is Pilar.
My name is Ryan.
Alright, but this week we be talking about the chill 2018 directorial debut from my boy Jonah Hill, mid-90s, bitch.
Word. Yo, mid-90s is about this young blood who starts hanging with these dope older skaters in the mid-1990s. He got a scrub older brother who keeps jacking him up for being cooler than him. His mom's always bugging on him, even though she ain't ever at the crib. Then the dude who then the dude who let him in with these homies, he starts tripping, but he's just hella OG, and he's straight up with everyone. And at the end of the day, everyone is real tight, like for real.
For real. All right. So we're talking about mid-90s this week.
Yes.
And going down through the characters, we have our main boy that we are centered around the whole time.
Yes.
His name is Stevie, aka Sunburn, played by Sonny Soljic. Is that right?
I believe so.
He is like a preteen boy who's having like some struggles at home. And in order to get away, he finds community sort of in this small skate shop where the cool kids are hanging out. So, yeah.
Who he thinks are the cool kids.
Yeah, who he thinks are the cool kids. And we follow his story.
Yeah.
Part of these cool kids, we have the leader of the group named Ray. He's played by na-kel Smith. He is a pro skater dude. He's pretty chill. As the leader, he's the one who is trying to build himself from the ground up. So he's trying really hard not to tarnish his reputation within the skate community and kind of just work on his craftsmanship.
His craft.
Just working on his moves.
He takes skating seriously.
Yeah.
As like he thinks it's his vehicle to get out of
his part of his
lives,
his part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where opposite of him is his friend Fuckshit.
This guy's name is Fuckshit.
Yeah, this guy's name is Fuckshit. And while Ray and Fuckshit kind of like grew up together, hoping with the same dreams, while Ray is kind of working towards a specific goal of being a pro skater, Fuckshit is kind of just taking life by the river. He's just on
the river.
He's just floating on by, dude. He's just trying to get high, get some booty.
He's on island time.
Yeah. He just likes to be skating.
Yeah. I think he literally says I'm just trying to not take this seriously.
Yeah.
Life, just life in general.
And then from there, we got fourth grade. He is not a fourth grader. He's actually the same age as everyone else, but he's just so dumb that he was stuck in the fourth grade mentally.
Not even mentally. Socially, he's in the fourth grade.
Yeah. He is pretty cool, though, because he, despite being, really poor and stuff like that, I'm assuming he either saved up really, hard to either get a camera or it was passed down to him, and he goes around kind of filming his friends and his skateboard moves and just has a goal of actually creating films within the skating community.
Yeah, he kind of quietly is taking filmmaking very seriously.
Yeah, but I think after being repeatedly jumped on,
he's harassed for being quiet.
Yeah. He just decided that it's better to not talk about his dreams.
Yeah.
But then from there we have Ruben, who is kind of he was the youngest and the newest kid to the group before Stevie, and he was kind of still making his way within the ranks of this friend group before Stevie came and interrupted everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kind of dude, Ruben is just kind of not really a fuckboy, but he's just he just thinks he's the coolest person on earth.
Well, he's like a tryhard.
He is a tryhard. That's what it is. Yeah,
if fourth grade is dim-witted, Ruben is just stupid. He doesn't know any better. The the most ignorant thing he could say, he thinks he's being cool.
Yeah, he's like, dude, you should look up to me. I smoke. I skate. But yeah, those are the main 4 in the group before Stevie came in. Lastly, we have Ian, who is played by Lucas Hedges, who is Stevie's older brother. He's like a gym rat who likes to get buff, listen to rap, but he's kind of a loser. He has no friends, and he just beats up on Stevie for any reason. Yeah. Just breathes, and he's like, pa, pa, pa.
Yeah. You may remember Lucas Hedges from Lady Bird.
Yes. Who was my favorite. And in this movie, he's just like, I don't know. There's something soft about him in this movie, too. Like, by the end.
Oh, man. All right.
But, Ryan, you want to get into Ian.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about the relationships a little bit. So, Stevie and Ian are brothers. They have a pretty large age difference. Mm-hmm. So, we see Ian's 18th birthday. That's when Stevie gives him that CD. We don't know how old Stevie is, really.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's like maybe 12 to 13 years old.
I think 12 or 13. Yeah. Anyway, he's like very physically abusive to Stevie. Yeah. We have this one scene where they're like playing. They're playing PlayStation, and
they're playing Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That was like one of the first PlayStation games, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Anyway, Ian is telling Stevie, like, oh, yeah, Mom used to smoke when I was a kid. She used to, like, have guys over all the time. And I thought that was, like, insight into Ian's, like, psyche when it comes to...
his mom.
Not even his mom, but how he looks at Stevie.
Okay.
Like...
Oh, okay.
Like, watching the whole movie, you know, it's pretty obvious he's, like, jealous of Stevie for some reason. Yeah. But I think it's because he's, like, envious of how easy Stevie has it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, they are raised by a single mother who's never there. Right. She seems like a pretty... she's a pretty shitty mom, I think.
Yeah, she's kind of, like, spacey, like... She's not completely all there.
Yeah, like... Okay, so they have a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But they're not, like, well off at all. No. But, like, Ian has, like, based on the clothes that he wears and, like, the things that he owns, like CDs and stuff, like, I don't think he has a job, you know? Right. So, it appears as though their mom, who is... an absentee single mother, just kind of buys them things
to like entertain themselves,
to appease them, you know. Anyway, I get the impression that Ian didn't have it as easy as Stevie does. Right. Growing up, he probably went without for a long time. That's probably one of the reasons he's so possessive of his things, and. Yeah, so he hates Stevie because Stevie's like in such a better spot than he was
at his age,
at the same age.
Yeah, and it's almost like at some points Stevie doesn't really appreciate that sometimes, and so I feel like that makes Ian even more mad. Yeah, and it's also like reverse with his mother. Because now she's like the nice mom. So when she does nice things for Ian, he like doesn't believe that it's for him. It's more for like Stevie to see that she's being the nice mom. Yeah, it's almost like, oh, you have done nice things for Stevie, so you just have to do nice things for him. And you can see that. I think the most when you know, Stevie comes to Ian and is like, hey, I need money. And then Ian's like, all right, well, go steal from Mom. Yeah. And then they both steal from their mom, but he's like, the mom is like yelling at Ian. And he's like, go ask Stevie yourself. And she's like, Stevie, dear, did you steal money from me? Yeah. Like, and it's like, how are you going to do that? Like, I understand, like, Stevie's the baby or whatever. But I feel like that definitely like divides them as siblings, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she couldn't trust Ian enough to just take his word for it.
Right.
Like, she obviously saw that the money was missing, confronted him, because why would she ever confront Stevie? Because he's like a perfect kid or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was like, yeah, me and Stevie stole this shit. And, like, she just didn't believe him.
Right.
Anyway, that's all subtext. This is all subtext wise. But that gets me into, like, Stevie is supposed to have this older brother. He doesn't really have, like, a father figure or anything.
Right.
And then he sees, like, these cool kids. And I don't think he's, like, consciously really doing anything, honestly. But Ray kind of becomes like this older male figure for him, like he's like this brother figure that he never had.
Well, he strives really hard in the beginning to like be like his brother, because he goes into his room, he like tries to listen to the same music, and then does his little like he like lifts like 2 weights. So he like desperately is trying to find some grasp of manhood to like leech off of, to like grow into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And so he tried desperately to do that with Ian, and then Ian is just like not having it. Like he's like, fuck you, like I didn't have a dad, so I'm not gonna be your fucking dad, or you know, you're a role model, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. And so when he sees the kids like hanging out, he's like, all right, like I don't want to go home because all I'm gonna do is get the shit beat out of me or whatever, or coddled by you know, like his mom. It's like, I don't want that. So he starts hanging out with these kids. And
these kids, like, to Stevie, they're super cool, right?
Yeah, they're like the fucking cool, like coolest kids in town.
I love like when he gets kind of accepted into the group and he's like finally like skating with them, like just how happy he looks. He's just like,
he's like the cutest.
He's
smile.
like, man, I'm just out here doing it, man. But anyway, I don't think these kids are that cool. I mean,
Ray's fucking cool though.
Ray is cool, but like, I mean, 4th grade.
Yeah, 4th grade on his own is not a cool kid.
Not cool.
Ruben,
Fuck
not
shit
cool.
Probably is pretty cool.
Fuck shit's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's got that hair.
His name is Fuck Shit. I just know his teachers call him Fuck Shit.
But yeah.
But Ruben is not cool.
No, Ruben's not cool.
Yeah. Ruben's kind of like the tragic character of the whole story.
Yeah.
Because he's like the reject out of this not very cool group who just has almost no redeeming qualities, you know?
Right. I mean, so while Ray and Fuck Shit are cool, I feel like they're also like, in the sense of a school body, they are the outcast because they are like essentially like skaters, and on top of that they're like black skaters. So it's like from the outside world, skateboarding is, I feel like, is seen as a white boy sport. So like for a black kid to be doing a white boy sport, it just like one isolates them from their like kind of homogenous group of like other black people. Because I feel like in the sense of like being a POC and being into like a very niche thing, like I feel like that casts you out from your like the cultural surroundings from that group.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like I feel like there's a lot of black kids who are into anime, but they're still always seen as like the weird kid because they like anime. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they're not, I feel like a lot of the times they're not accepted into like black culture because they're like, oh, you like white people shit, which is like anime, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, well, I think Ray is black, obviously.
Right.
I think Fuck Shit.
I think he's like mixed.
Yeah, and you know, they're having this conversation about race. Ray asked 4th grade, why do white people, what did he say?
Why do white people love their pets so much?
Why do white people like their pets so much? Anyway, I don't know.
You can't fit. What's his name? Eric? I think the dog's name was like Eric or something like that.
What?
The dog. He was talking about how he went to this girl's house. And he was just like, why is your mom feeding your little brother kibble? I'm like, Eric's not a dog, silly. But yeah. Yeah, they did have that conversation about race. And, that's how Stevie gets his nickname Sunburn. Mm-hmm. Because, dude, Ray asked him, like...
Fourth grade asked Ray if black people can get sunburned. And
then they started laughing at him because he's so dumb, whatever.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it can be a legitimate question. As a POC, I didn't know I could get sunburned until like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. As someone who has been sunburned every time they stepped into the sun for the last, 50 years, I thought that like only really pale people could be sunburned.
Okay.
Because like even in my own family, like my mom would never get sunburned. So I thought that was just like, oh, if you have like super pale skin, you're gonna get sunburned.
Damn, you were cursed.
I was.
But yeah, so they all laughed at him, and then Ray asked, "Hey, to Stevie, do you know if black people can get sunburned?" And then Stevie, like, I don't know if he was like trying to be smart or funny or something, or he just legit just did not know what black people were.
I think that's what it is. I think so like Ian is very into black culture.
Right.
He has all these basketball clothes and like listens to rap like exclusively pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Stevie has a relationship
with like black people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like it was a legitimate question.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, you can't not know like what black people are. I don't know. Like you have to know about black people.
Okay, so this is an issue that I feel like I relate very strongly to this movie because I was around Stevie's age in the mid-1990s. I think I was a little younger than Stevie.
Yeah. I
would have been like 8 or 9 when this movie happens or takes place.
Right.
For me, I didn't know people as like black or white.
Okay.
For a long time.
Right.
Like when I'm 8 or 9 years old, around this time, I understood that there were like people that look different than me, but like their skin isn't black, so I didn't think there were black people. I thought they were like brown or tan people or whatever, So to me, like I can see how that's a genuine question. Like what are black people? What is that?
Yeah, I guess like at a younger age, and then a lot of, I would say a lot of white folks don't really have the tendency to like talk about race because I feel like it's such a touchy subject that I feel like white parents might have like a hard time explaining and are scared like if they say something wrong, it might just give the wrong impression to their kid.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that reflected in this group of guys. Like they're all talking about race and like the aspects of other races that they don't understand.
Yeah. Which is kind of like, I mean, they were joking, with fourth grade with being like, oh, don't say something wrong or whatever. Like, it was not like they were like trying to like get him or anything. I mean, they were going to make fun of him no matter what he said.
Right. As soon as he opens his mouth, he's going to get made fun of.
Right. So overall, I think that skateboarding is just a great way to showcase diversity. Because it's so simple and open for anyone to pick up. Like literally like learning to skateboard, like it's not hard. Like you just pick up a board and you step on it and then move. I mean, doing the tricks might be hard, but like just skateboarding itself is so easy.
Yeah.
And I think anybody can get into it.
I've tried.
For this movie to use skateboarding as kind of like, while it may be personal to Jonah Hill, like his story, I think it's an excellent way to kind of showcase like growth within like finding yourself and finding your community, and then just like learning what your limits are like as a person and like physically and mentally.
Okay.
So after he starts hanging out with like his new friend group, Stevie kind of flips the script, and instead of being like a timid little boy who's like is struggling to find like some connection to boyhood or manhood, he is like a lot more confident in himself and what he wants to do, and so he takes charge of both his brother and his mom. Like at some point, he I think he like comes home or something like drunk, and his brother's like waiting for him. It's like, why are you ruining your life? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, leave me alone. And then he doesn't beat him up. I think, does he like spit orange juice in his eyes? Because he grabs the orange juice bottle. So that's where I'm like, I don't know what happened.
I don't think Stevie physically did anything to him. I think he just upset him.
Oh, no, I think it has something to do with his eyes.
No, I think he was crying.
You think he was just crying?
Yeah. He's a little punk ass bitch.
No, but he was like grasping his eyes. I think he spat orange juice in his face, like in his eyes, and because of the acidity, he's like, his eyes are like burning or something.
Okay, I didn't even see that.
Really? Yeah, because he grabbed the jug.
He grabbed the jug, but I thought he was just gonna hit him with it or something.
I don't know, or maybe he just stabs him in the eyes. Like, I feel like something happened to his eyes.
But Stevie like called him all these names and told him he was a bitch and all this shit.
You think that made him cry?
Yeah.
All right.
And then he punches him.
You tell us. What do you think it is?
And then he punches him, and he knows, fuck, this kid's right.
I am a loser. I am a punk ass bitch. All right.
He told him he doesn't have any friends.
Damn, that would make me cry.
I was gonna say this for later, but it just bothered me how every scene with Ian, he had orange juice. Every fucking scene.
That's just the thing, dude.
Man, come on. If he had friends, they would call him orange juice.
That's why he doesn't have any friends, because he's scared that they're gonna call him orange juice.
This guy likes orange juice like Kel likes orange soda, man. Okay, so I wanted to get into like the nostalgia a little bit.
Okay.
So we're kind of like flooded with all of this 90s
like memorabilia almost at this point.
Yeah. So we get some Ninja Turtle stuff, which is why I'm wearing Ninja Turtles right here. Even the skateboard that Stevie buys from Ian, his first skateboard.
Yeah.
It says Cowabunga on it.
Yeah, so cute.
And I had a skateboard.
Got a fucking dino board. What's he saying?
Yeah, I think so. I had a skateboard just like that. It was a Nash skateboard.
Okay.
It didn't have like a cool like turtle or dinosaur or whatever that was on the bottom. But I'll put a picture of it.
Okay. So in the opening sequence, when we meet Stevie, he's like wearing a Street Fighter shirt. You're like looking, you're like panning around his room. He has like the Ninja Turtle sheets, he said. There's like the Source magazine that he, I think that was in Ian's room, which is like a rap magazine that came up around like late 80s and then continued. And then like there's the posters where he's like putting up his new skateboard stuff, and that the posters that he is pulling out of is like Big Brother, which is a skateboard magazine around that time. There's like, for me, the only skateboard company that I'm completely familiar with, which is like the ones that my friends were really into, was Girl. So I easily recognize that one, but there's like Chocolate, who is like kind of a branch off of a Girl. There was other ones. Oh, Girl was also founded by Spike Jonze. Not Spike Lee.
Oh, Girl by Spike Jonze. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool.
That's your boy. And then Motor, which is the main store that is that Stevie goes to, is based off of a store called Hot Rod, which is the store that that Jonah Hill would come to when he was a kid or whatever.
Okay.
So I feel like it's really cool to have like all these like not just 90 references, but like also skateboard references, which I'm sure like if you're like really into skateboarding, like you got all the digs, like
yeah.
you know, you're just ripping everybody, trying to, especially at that time when you're just trying to be picked up by anybody. So you're just trying to be like, oh yeah, I wear Thrasher, I wear Vans.
I'll wear it.
Yeah, I'll wear it. You sign me, I'll wear it. Oh yeah. I mean, also like the fashion of this whole like movie, I think is like really cool for men's fashion. Like I feel like a lot of it's just like t-shirts and like being kind of in the resale game. Like you just, when you see a cool t-shirt, you just know that kid is like, you know, worked really hard for this t-shirt, or that they've like worn it their whole lives. Like I think the one that hits me the most is when Stevie goes to jump that gap and then he misses, and then Ray tells Ruben to take off his shirt, and Ruben's like, fuck no, like this is my favorite fucking shirt, like, and then he's like, just take it off. Dude, I would have been pissed. Because if that's your favorite shirt, like, I don't care. Like, honestly, for me, I wouldn't care if somebody's bleeding. Like, you're not using my shirt. Like, if you want to, like, if you want to suck up somebody's blood, you use your own damn shirt.
Damn.
I'm just saying.
With Ruben, like, I think the nickname was the first straw, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, Ruben doesn't have a nickname, and then Stevie just, like, is there for 1 second, and then they start calling him Sunburn. And then the shirt is definitely the second thing. Mm-hmm. And then following that incident, he comes back, and then Ray gives him
the
board that Ruben has been saving up for.
Yeah.
And Ruben's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah. Like, it's not really told how long Ruben has been with these guys to like deserve a nickname or to like deserve getting a free board. So like it's understandable where Ruben is coming from. One, you know, he doesn't have a lot going on for him. Like he's struggling at home. Yeah. And he's like trying to get in with these cool kids, but like they're just at the point where Stevie comes in, he's like the gopher almost. Yeah. Where like he's like, I don't want to be the gopher, I want to be part of the group. Where like Stevie's like, oh yeah, I'll do anything. And so that's where he's like, damn, bitch, like I'm fucking trying to be cool and you're just out here being a little boy and just doing shit for people. And that's not fucking fair.
Well, yeah, like Ruben is like, he is so quick to be like, oh, you want to be with us? Well, now you're going to do all the shit work, you know?
Right.
Like all the grunt work. Like going to get water for people. How awful. But Stevie don't care. He'll do anything, man.
He'll just do anything. Yeah, I think Ruben's really interesting. And I feel bad because I feel like his character isn't elaborated enough on. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish there was a little bit more of a connection with... I mean, we did see, like, a good bit of the connection, but we kind of just had his story laid out to us with Ray. Like, I wish there was a little bit more elaboration from Ruben about what was going on in his life and why it was more understandably deserving of, like, hatred towards Stevie and what he's getting. Like, also, like, Stevie's a little white boy too, you know? Yeah. He's like, fuck your white privilege. There was also like the party that they went into, and at some point I think Stevie tries to like pass him like some sort of pipe or whatever. Yeah. And Ruben's like, nah, but he like, it's almost so like Stevie would get more fucked up. I think he was like hoping that Stevie would make a fool out of himself. Like the more like shit faced and fucking high he got. Yeah. But he just got cooler and cooler throughout the night. Dude, Ruben was fucking pissed.
So there's this thing. Mm-hmm. We have this conversation between Ray and Stevie.
Okay.
In which he tells Stevie that he lost his younger brother. In like, he was hit by a car or something like that. This, horrible accident. He loses his younger brother, like, is having a really hard time. And, fuck shit, his friend comes and pulls him out of his room and is like, hey man, we're going to go skating.
Right.
And like, ever since then, he's kind of taken skating seriously. And like, it's kind of put him on this path that he's on now. This like, raised straight, like he's not, he is working hard to make himself,
something of himself.
Yeah, exactly. So like, at this point, I could see Ray like taking Stevie under his wing and like, like, oh, you can be like my little brother now.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I don't see that initially,
So this film is supposedly set in 1996.
2000. Yeah. So, yeah, I tried to look it up too. It says Stevie's either 12 or 13. The film is in 1996.
Right.
But there's a couple of things that make me doubt that specificity.
Okay.
There's a deleted scene, which I completely understand why it's deleted. Okay. But there is this deleted scene where we see them driving by this movie theater. On the marquee, it says it's the usual suspects.
Right.
And there's all these people waiting in line, and they like drive by, and the windows are down, and then they just yell out like the twist at the end, and like ruin it for all these people in the line.
Right.
But it's a deleted scene, which I think it's deleted because that would give a very specific time to this movie. Because The Usual Suspects came out on August 16th, 1995.
Okay.
There's people waiting outside in line. Like, this movie just came out.
Okay.
So it has to be, like, that weekend or something,
Okay.
So, like, that makes me think, yeah, this movie didn't come out, or this movie didn't take place in 1996.
Okay.
But then there is other little things. Like, if it's August of 95... They're also playing PlayStation. That's another thing. Look, okay. They're not poor. They have a fucking PlayStation, dude.
Okay.
That shit just came out. It came out in America in September of 95. Okay. So it can't be August because PlayStation's already out. And it's not like they just got a PlayStation. Like, they just, they're playing that shit when they got nothing else to do. Like, they're over it already.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have like a specific time.
Right.
It's just mid-90s. And I kind of have a big problem with that.
That it doesn't have a specific time to kind of just like cling on to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's important. Anyway, I'm just saying, 1984 was different than 1996. Okay. And I need to know when exactly this movie took place. Like, that's just something I need to know.
Okay. Well, what was different for 1994 from 1996 for you?
For me, like Kurt Cobain was dead.
Okay.
Also in that year, like the Atlanta Braves won the World Series.
Okay.
So that was like a big moment for the city.
Okay, but what is that going to do
with... The Olympics were in 1996.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like... So, like...
Okay, so it would make sense with the Olympics, because I feel like that would be all over the news or whatever.
Yeah, like... I mean, they're in Los Angeles, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still the Olympics, and it's happening in America.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would at least, like, pop up on the TV. Like, while mom is watching or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things happening. Like, there's... In Los Angeles, there's, like, the Rodney King shit. Like, I don't know... how far removed we are from that. Okay. There's like O.J. Simpson. Yeah. I mean, seriously though, like these are major things that happen in history that
that just like seem to not.
Yeah, and it's like purposefully vague just so Jonah Hill can like throw in a bunch of stuff that he remembers from his childhood.
Okay. I see where you're going now. Okay.
And to me as a kid, like when I was 11 is very different from when I was 13.
Okay.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, these things matter when you're a kid.
So I guess, like, comparing also to, like, Boyhood, like, I feel like Boyhood definitely had a lot of, like, big events that were happening. That were, like, connected to the family and what was going on in this story. So, like, both mid-90s and Boyhood are, like, slice of life movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, you know, while this is very personal to Jonah Hill's, like, upbringing, there is the vagueness to, like, for him to just throw in whatever he remembers.
Yeah.
Versus, like, Boyhood, it's, like, a very written out, like, storyline that is, like, carefully intertwined with events that happen throughout the years of this whole film.
They literally filmed it for, like, a month every year.
Right. Know? So, like, I definitely feel like I understand where you're coming from now. Because I feel like, you know, it didn't make sense to me why you were so upset, like, between 1994 and 1996. I mean, between those times, like, I was, like, 3 years old. So, I don't remember anything, you know? But it's, like, for me, if it was, like, a movie set in, like, 2010 versus 2015, like, those are two different years that I very distinctly remember. So I guess I understand it now from that perspective.
Okay. Sorry. It took a long time to get there.
Well, I just felt like because you were relating it to, like, to yourself, like, it was hard to, like, understand why it's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Have we even talked about the movie?
No.
So, like, at the end of the day, I'm kind of left with is this movie about Stevie as a like, you know, a character?
Yeah.
Or is it really just about the 90s or the mid-90s?
Right. Well, I honestly don't think it's about the 90s at all.
Well, see, that's where my issue is.
That it's called mid-90s, but it doesn't really... Like, it just, like... It's almost like the LaCroix of mid-90s. You, like, get the essence of it, but you don't get the real taste.
There's no flavor.
Right. You just
the essence. It just smells like it.
Yeah, it just smells like it. Yeah, so, I mean, definitely, like, it's about Stevie. Like, it just focuses on skateboarding as a community and it, like, as a coming of age kind of activity to do to build yourself.
Okay.
And, like, honestly, this movie could have been set almost at any time when skateboarding was around.
Yeah.
It just happened to be when Jonah Hill was, like, a kid. So, I mean, I do find it misleading for as a title to be called mid-90s. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have done a little bit more to be more specific to, like, the decade for such a title.
Yeah.
But, I mean, mid-90s just sounds so cool. Like, I feel like to call it, like, a very specific skateboard thing would have been kind of isolating for, like, viewers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, like, the purpose of the movie is just too unspecific.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. Okay. Well, did you like anything about this movie?
Yes, I did like some things in the movie.
Okay. What did you like about the movie?
Well, I think you liked more than I did, so you get into it.
Okay, well, I mean, like, for me, I love slice of life movies. I've said this before in previous episodes. So I felt like, to me, it felt very personal to a storyline. It was very slow paced, but it felt like it wasn't like a forced friendship. Does that make sense? Okay. Like, it felt natural, like, coming, and, like, there were fights and things weren't fully explained. And I feel like that is something that I appreciate because it kind of just exemplifies, like, what it is to have a human connection with others. Like,
yeah, you
know, like, as much as I would have liked more elaboration from Ruben about his life, like, sometimes you don't get that. Yeah. And it's like, I have to deal with it because that's just how life is. To the ending, like the shot of the car getting crashed into, like I think that was like the first time we watched it, I think I had to pause it or something because I was like crying hysterically because it just felt so real. Like, I don't know, like you've been in a car crash, or maybe not that bad of a car crash.
Yeah, not that bad.
Like, I was in that bad of a car crash where like somebody ran into a pole or whatever, and I think my car got squished under another car. Like, I was just jamming out to My Chemical Romance, and all of a sudden, like, it was just black, and then all of a sudden I hear like Gerard singing, and I'm like, and then the horn is going, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then some Asian man pulls me out of the car, and then I never see that Asian man ever again. It's just like, I don't know, it just felt like it just happened so incrementally, and the way that it was shot like felt very similar to that, so I felt like it was really...
Yeah, fourth grade's like, he's like, can you just like pull over? And then it kind of like
blacks out,
like
and then
flashes.
like flashes. Yeah.
And then you hear the horn, and then you see the car flipped over, and then you see inside the car, and everybody is like, you know, coming to reality of what just happened.
Right.
And then it like cuts again to like the hospital, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really appreciated that scene because it felt like really realistic as far as like how a car crash kind of like happens in your brain.
Yeah.
Overall, I feel like the shots in this movie are just fucking cool. Like the longboarding down like the street.
Yeah.
I think when when Sunburn is trying to make that gap, it's just like he just disappears into the abyss. There were some shots where I was like, it was really dark, and that was like at the party where you like couldn't really see anything, and just other scenes where I felt like it just could have been I don't know, just a little bit better lit, but you know, whatever, it's sticking to real life.
Friendly.
Yeah. It's fine. So you were talking about the orange juice with Ian.
Yeah.
And dude, at the end when he's at the hospital waiting for Stevie to wake up, he has like the 2 orange juices in his pocket, and like first of all, he's probably wearing Jankos. Because he's fucking huge ass pockets. 2, like, who knows how long that orange juice has been in there. Dude, that shit was probably fucking warm. Like, also, why? Why do you have orange juice in your pockets?
I know. Like, just put it on, like, the table right next to you.
Yeah, just, like, have a styrofoam cup. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was weird to me. But, I mean, I guess that's his thing. Oh, when they're at the hospital and all the kids are, like, sleeping in the waiting room, fuck shit has his hands in his pants. Dude, that's fucking hilarious. I don't know if he told him to do that, but that's fucking genius. And then I do like the dichotomy you see between Ray and fuck shit, like when they're going to the party, and then fuck shit is like giving like drugs around or whatever, and Ray is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, fucking grow up. Like, these are some small ass kids.
Yeah,
like,
he like takes one from him and throws it at him.
Yeah, like he like doesn't know how to approach his friend, and you can see that like he's struggling to like want to keep being his friend, but also being like this is a toxic person in my life at this point. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, okay. That's one of the things that bothers me is like Ray ultimately makes the final decision on getting in the car at the end. Yeah, and like that just seems out of character. Yeah, like not even to be like, all right, yeah, everybody, let's just get in the car. Like, not even that, but for him to not recognize that fuck shit is, like, fucked up, you know? Yeah. Like, and cannot drive. Like, Ray seems, like, very observant. And for him to just trust fuck shit's ability to drive... Yeah. Just doesn't line up.
So, for me, like, the first time that I watched it, I didn't remember... Ray getting in the car. I thought he told everyone like, hey, I'm just not gonna get in the car, you guys do what you want to do. So rewatching it this time, I was almost shocked to be like, oh, he did get in the car.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, that did feel out of character for Ray. Like, I feel like he should have said something.
I don't know.
I
did really. So, one of the things I really like about Stevie, just in general, like, it's not really. I see it as a coming of age, yes, but also it's not like a typical kind of coming of age. It's almost like reverse, almost.
Okay.
Because Stevie really is like a go-getter, you know? Like, he kind of takes it upon himself to, like, go to this skate shop and start hanging out with these kids. And, like, he does that. And then, you know, we have the great moment where he's like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to skate this gap.
Yeah.
And he's not really doing it. I don't think he's doing it to, like, impress anyone.
Yeah.
Because he's just having fun. And he's just, like, has this natural, like, positive energy about him. And I think that's what is so cool about Stevie.
Okay.
But then toward the end of the movie, Ray tells him after he falls through the gap or whatever, like, man, you take the hardest hits of everyone or whatever. It's almost like Stevie wears that like a badge, you know?
Yeah. Like he's just like kind of the wild card.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, man, I just get beat up by my brother every day. So this is nothing.
This ain't shit.
But then at the end, Ray tells him, like, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to take these knocks.
Yeah.
And, like, it's uncommon for someone to, like, grow by, like, reeling it in. You know? That's kind of the thing. Like, Ray, like, reels in Stevie's wildness at the end.
Okay.
And I think Stevie grows from that.
Grows in the last 5 seconds of the film.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what we're ultimately left with.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Want to get into our ratings?
Yeah.
All right. What did you rate this movie, Pilar?
Okay. So, I know it's probably different from what I rated it the first time.
Oh, yes.
If you didn't know, I rated this in the pre-establishment episode, which you can watch if you haven't.
Yeah, Pilar gave it a 9.5.
Wow.
In the establishment episode.
Okay.
What did you give it this time?
This time, after doing a lot of consideration and understanding what I actually watched in this film, I bumped it down to a 8.7.
Wow, okay.
So I think the first time in rating it, I didn't take into account to all the weird kind of like unrealistic parts of it, like the party and then like the relationship sometimes, and some of the dialogue was like kind of like weird.
Okay.
The formatting I think is part of that too, like the way it was like set up, like you were talking about, like the missing links to the year and like kind of like a connection to time. Yeah. And honestly, the sound, like, I think the sound is the most impeccable in the scene, and when he's making the skateboard for Stevie. That's like the only sounds I remember the whole movie. But everything else, like soundtrack wise, I like blocked that whole shit out. I don't know. I can't remember one song in that fucking movie. Yeah. Which kind of sucks because I feel like a soundtrack is like so essential for like a 90s movie. Yeah. The things I rated the highest was like obviously my enjoyment. I love this movie so much. Like I feel like 1, slice of life, 2, boyhood. Like growing up is like one of my favorite like genres too. Okay, yeah. So yeah, 8 points.
Okay, all right. I really do like that scene. Is probably like the strongest one where he's
like making the board.
Yeah, like making the board, like putting the grip tape. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, just like the lighting in that scene as well is so good. You can like see this experience being like Stevie is forming a new memory,
right?
In this moment.
You can see the beauty of like skateboarding and what it means to the people that skateboard, who like love it. And I really appreciate that. I feel like sound wise you can hear like this scraping and then like him using the tool and stuff like that. Like it's just like I think that scene is just so memorable. And I wish, like, to me, like, as much as I love slice of life, I also love scenes like that. So it like sucks to like having to choose between like a very like hyper stylistic movie like that and just like straight out like home videos kind of.
All right, so I did not rate it as high as you.
Okay.
I'm giving the movie a solid 8.0.
Okay. I mean, I still think that's pretty good though.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good movie. It's like a feel good movie.
Yeah.
And it's pretty chill.
Like, you honestly cannot hate this movie. It's just a chill ass movie.
Yeah.
Like, you either like dig it or you don't.
I definitely have my problems, my issues with this movie. But yeah, I enjoy watching it and I'll watch it again,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
8.0.
8.0. All right. So
yeah, what's your one favorite thing?
My one favorite thing. All right. So my one favorite thing is okay, actually I want you to go for your one favorite thing.
All right. I'll go. My one favorite thing about this movie is something you alluded to earlier.
Okay.
When Ian's like going somewhere and he's like, "Don't go in my room," which I don't know why you would tell your younger brother that. It's like how to make him go in your room is to tell him not to. Anyway, he goes in there and he's looking at all of Ian's cool stuff and he has this little notepad and he starts like writing down like the CDs he has. Yeah. He's just like making notes of the cool stuff.
Right.
That Ian has. And I thought that was really cool.
So hard, yeah. Aw.
That's my favorite thing. What about your favorite thing?
Okay, so my favorite thing is when Stevie is first coming up into the friend group and he's hanging out with Ruben and Ruben says something and like corrects Stevie or something. He's like, "Oh, thank you." Oh, I think he gives him a cigarette.
Yeah.
He's like, "Thank you." He's like, "Bitch, don't say thank you. That's fucking gay." Dude, that's just... I was like reading on like Jonah Hill being worried about using terminology like that and like the F word. Yeah. And like, I think, like for the time, like, that stuff wasn't directly derogatory towards anything, Right. Like, I mean, I'm gay. I said that stuff when I was like a kid, but it's just like, it's so funny. Like Stevie doesn't care about being mistaken for gay. He's just like glad to be there. Like, like he cares about being mistaken for gay because Ruben cares. But like, does it make sense?
Yeah.
So like when
I mean the term gay is like synonymous with like uncool.
Right. At this time. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like either way, like Stevie doesn't know anything about the world. Right. So he doesn't care about that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the matter that it matters so much to Ruben that like he doesn't want Stevie to like appear gay because like that means that Ruben's hanging out with gay kids.
Yeah. Meanwhile, through Ruben's own logic, him even explaining to Stevie not to say thank you because that's gay could be construed as gay.
I guess.
Because he's giving advice.
Right. Just like, I don't know, it just showcases like how dumb we are as kids and how like we try so hard to be things that we're not. And Stevie's just like, okay, it's just so funny. I love it.
All right.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching this film with us. Ow. We are going to get into our movies for the next episode.
Yeah. So I guess usually this is the part of the episode where we use a theme for this movie, from this movie, to kind of transition into the three options for the next movie.
Yeah.
But this time around, it is October and it is spooky season.
Spooky.
So we decided to kind of dig up some movies from the grave. These are movies that not a lot of people have seen. We had to look really deep for them.
Yeah.
So these are those three options.
All right, so the three movies that we have chosen for you guys to choose from for the next episode is we have A, Angels with Filthy Souls, that came in 1990. B, we have The Crows Have Eyes 3, that came out in 2018. And then lastly, C, we have Satan's Alley, that came out in 2008.
Yes. Yeah, so those are the three options. We have never seen any of these movies.
Yeah, we're really excited.
So we're really excited about that. Time to get trickered or treated. Yeah.
And remember, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys can vote either in the comments of this video below. You can find us on our Instagram. We are There Will Be Podcasts. And Twitter, we are Pod From A Basket.
Yeah, and we're also on Spotify and Google Podcasts and just about any outlet you get your podcasts on. But yeah, I think we're going to have some parting words this time. So that ought to be pretty fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
What is your name?
Fuck shit.
Fuck shit. Jesus. Listen to me. You do not give my son alcohol. You do not give my son drugs. Do you understand me?
Cool.
That better be cool, fuckhead, or whatever the fuck your name is. Stay away from my son. He's not like you. Is she mad about the